Everyone, and happy April 19th. It's 2019. Let's talk about the sports scraps applications and go over some fun things in Excel about how to go through data. Not only is this an experiment in writing an artificially intelligent machine learning type algorithm to figure out if it can help pick sports games based on available data, but it's also a way to learn about how to manipulate data in Excel, something that I truly believe it's like a life changer for you if you get involved in anything in your job or in your life where you want to organize data easily. So I like to try to combine both and go over things. Now let's talk about baseball right now. So the baseball files is a really fun and interesting and intricately designed file in that it has so many different elements and statistics that we use to come up with a projected score and a projected winner. And there's a history to this. I've been doing this for almost a year now, really about 10 months. And it started in at the All-Star break of 2018 last year. I have information all the way back, July 30th actually is the first date I have information here, but I even started a little bit before that. And so what you can do is you can look and see, well, how did this thing do? And I've highlighted a certain amount of data here. This is a pivot slicer here. You can create these slicers by going up to whenever you're inside a pivot table. If you go to the Analyze at the top here, you can insert a slicer for anything in your data set. And we have date as one of the things in our data set. And I'm highlighting from September 1st of last year through the end of the regular season. And I'm not even including the playoffs. It did very well in the playoffs all the way as well. But you can see that it made 5% ROI in these 252 games. And you can kind of also track the cumulative ROI or the cumulative profit, how many units it got up. Um, and it's not perfect, of course. You know, of these 252 games, you can kind of see how many you won and lost by clicking win, for example. We won 153 of them, and we lost 99 of them. Good record, not great. You can never be perfect, but you try to do the best you can. So it will win. Now, how's it doing this season so far? Well, we can highlight over here in the slicer. We can highlight, I started this on March 28th. We can highlight that all the way to today by unclicking this and just highlighting that. And right now, we had a terrible day yesterday. We went 1-7 yesterday. So we're down right now, but we were up yesterday. This is going to oscillate a lot early in the season because what we're using in our data source and also the way we're using the data, we use pitching stats over here. I'm showing the different pitching stats that we use. We use pitcher win percentage, we use pitcher loss percentage, we use ERA. They add up to 25% of our estimating value when we're trying to figure out who's going to win. Well, a lot of these pitchers don't have decisions or have totally distorted stats because it's so early in the season. So anywhere you see all this red, that's just there are no zeros, and a lot of red means there's just no data. So you got to just anticipate this is going to be like this for another few weeks until you really start to get information and ERA that is more reliable. You know, there are people like today. It has Vargas with an ERA of 14. He does tend to give up a lot of runs sometimes, but he'll also pitch a good game once in a while. So, and he's got one win even with that 14 ERA. So things are distorted now, but they will clean themselves up. So, what we can do though is we can also dive in and see how are we profiting from this and how can we use this to look at the picks for the day. And I'll give you an example of that. Instead of just looking by date, we can look at this by team. And when you look at it by team, when you mess around in the field list of this pivot table, and you have your teams now over here, I have it sorted by the different ROI of the team and the profit of the team. And you can see that certain teams we do very, very well with. We do well with Pittsburgh, Arizona, Oakland. We have a lot of games with Oakland as well. We've done well with Seattle, who finally won a game last night. They've been on a slide. We do well with Minnesota. We do well with Baltimore, who seems to be an underrated team this year. They beat Tampa Bay yesterday, who's an excellent team. We also do well with Tampa Bay. So you can look at this by team. You can see teams we don't do well with, like the Yankees. Like there was a Yankees game yesterday where they were favored over Kansas City. And I said, I don't like the line on the Yankees. This file doesn't win well with the Yankees. And I let a note out to the subscribers saying I really don't like the line there. And and they ended up losing the game anyway. So you can look at the teams to see how they respond to the file. You can also do things to look at bet score, because what I'm doing is I'm setting up a bet score that's supposed to value the strength of the pick. And if we sort this to sorting by bet score here, which is what we're doing, we also have a running profit. We see the highest bet scores at the top are the most likely to win. This was a game with Seattle. I mean, we can actually open up all this in the pivot table because we're doing this by an individual bet score. We can show you the date that this happened. We can keep expanding this out and show you the money line at the time, whether or not it was a win or a loss, and whether or not we're profitable. And one of the things that I did in last year's videos was talk about where the threshold of the bet score is. It was about at 3, actually. If the bet score was above 3 last year, we had the best profitability or the optimal profitability on those games. Well, here we're up 10, 11 units, 10, 11 units, 10, 11 units. This is good. Right around 3 again. Look at that bet score of 3, and then it starts to drop down. And it doesn't reach 10 again. And it reaches 7 down here at a very low bet score, and then at the super lowest, it actually drops negative. So the bet score does matter, and it's even mattering already this year in 2019. This is actually the first time I've looked at this. So, so the bet score above 3 does mean something, and seems to be a good spot right there. This bet score above 3. Right around 2.93 here, we have a profit of 11 units. We've got, I mean, how many games is this? This is 97 games, and we're showing 11 unit profit. That's more than 10% ROI. That's fantastic. So there are a lot of different ways to look at this, right? Well, let's talk about today and show you how I do some handicapping of the games, knowing what we know about what's in here and how the file responds. So this is updated with what lineups are available here for Friday the 19th. So they may change and things may change. So what the file is doing here, for example, in this first game, Arizona versus the Cubs, you never know what's going to happen with Wind and Wrigley, so runs can be off because this doesn't take into account Wind. Hendricks is 0-3 and has an ERA of 5. He looks really bad here, which is why it's favoring Arizona a little more than it would if we had better pitching stats. So I actually don't like making any action on this game because we don't have enough information, and the projected score isn't showing much of a differential. So even though there's a 5 here, you can see the bet score is below 3. So I would actually probably stay away from this game today. Once we get more stats, we'll have less of these variables where we don't know what to do. San Francisco and Pittsburgh showing a low scoring game. Consider it under here. Consider it looks like it likes Pittsburgh. San Francisco is a really bad team. Jordan Lyles has good pitching to start. Baumgartner is also good, but the line is reasonable. So Pittsburgh's actually a good pick there, even though this bet score is not above 3. I like that a little bit better. Washington versus Miami. Miami's a miserable team. Washington is not much better. I believe that is correct. It's Anibal Sanchez and not Aaron Sanchez. There's 2 different Sanchez's that are under the same A Sanchez as pitchers. So it likes Washington 4-3. This game's in Miami. It's a bigger field, less scoring. The line is not great at -122. You can see the bet score is very low. I'd almost consider staying away, but Miami's so bad that Washington probably does win that game. Dodgers and Milwaukee. Likes the Dodgers, likes the line, thinks they're going to win by 4 runs. You've got a reasonable amount of pitching stats. You got a 1-1, a 2-2. So these are looking a little better. Maybe Jules Chasen's ERA is an issue this year for Milwaukee. Maybe. Dodgers can't hit the ball. That's probably an okay pick. All right, I like that. Mets and St. Louis. St. Louis been playing some better ball last few days. You have we got Vargas's pitching issue. So that's inflating the runs here. Because Vargas's ERA is at 14 there. We'll lower that down for a little bit. His ERA is at 14, and so it's predicting 10 runs for St. Louis. They might get there, but that's distorted because it's early in the year. This line's a little rough, but St. Louis probably going to win that game. All right. Philadelphia and Colorado. I am probably going to go to that game today. I did not go yesterday, but I'm in Boulder and I believe I'm going to go to that game because the weather's gorgeous today. And the file says what? File says that Philly's going to win 5-2, but Philly's an iffy team. And Vince Velasquez is 0-0 and has no stats for any decisions yet this year. ERA at 2. So stay away from Philly because they blew it yesterday. Colorado won. I'm going to go to the game, and the home team always wins, or not always, but is on the streak of winning when I go to games. St. Louis won against the Dodgers when I was there last week. So I think Colorado pulls this out because I'm going to be there. So that's your inside information when I go. The home team wins generally, if that's the streak we're on, and we are on that streak right now. Cincinnati and San Diego. San Diego blew it yesterday. Okay, so there's no bet score even above 0 here, so it says stay away. And the reason why you got bad pitching against bad pitching, if anything, I'd consider it over given those ERAs and those losses. So this score might even be higher, but I don't like much, even though it says San Diego's going to win. Minnesota and Baltimore. Baltimore's underrated. Minnesota's pretty good too. Alex Cobb, no decisions here. She got no pitching data. It's a tough call. It's a tough call all around. Baltimore's line looks phenomenal at plus 175, even though they're going up against Barrios. That's intriguing. Even they're plus 1.5 at minus 110. I don't know. These run lines are probably not right. You're going to update. So I'd stay away from this game or even consider Baltimore, but never listen to me. I always listen to the file. Let's see here. Kansas City and the Yankees. We hate the Yankees, right? You see the file's even starting to hate the Yankees at a -2 bet score. Kansas City's almost approaching 0 and wants you to bet it, even though the runs here it thinks are going to be in favor of the Yankees. Sabathia, no decisions yet. No ERA. Did he pitch well the first time? I think he did. Junis stinks. Everyone always says that. Tough game, but doesn't like anything. The White Sox and Detroit. Detroit's really bad. Wants the White Sox here at minus 105. I understand why. Rodon. Probably the White Sox. That's enough there, although Zimmerman's stats are really bad. I don't know if he's not pitching well this year or what. Boston and Tampa Bay. Order Rodriguez or Stanek. They always switch a bunch of pitchers to Tampa Bay. We like Tampa Bay over Boston here. I put this line in because I think they didn't have it available yet, or it was still coming out. But yeah, I like Tampa Bay. They're not gonna. They're probably gonna. Boston, bad team right now. Houston and Texas, interesting game. Verlander's pitching. I'm surprised. Does say take Houston minus 220 though. Rough line. That's why the bet score comes all the way down to 0.5. Tough game. Texas has been playing well. Seattle and the Angels. Angels are so bad, and Gonzalez is looking like the best. This is at plus 102. I can't believe this. There's a good reason this is a number 1 pick. Take Seattle. Take Seattle. You could even take Seattle minus 1.5. I wonder are they at plus the reverse line on Seattle minus 1.5 is gonna have a great line. The reverse line on Seattle minus 1.5 because they're slightly a dog apparently. That seems like a great idea. Toronto and Oakland. Likes Oakland. Toronto's better than we thought last year. Stroman didn't have any pitching stats. No, I'm sorry, he's 0-3. Oh my goodness. So blind I am without my glasses. Without my glasses. Put the TV close enough to my face. So it does like Oakland there. I see why. That's probably a decent pick as well. Atlanta and Cleveland. Atlanta let us down yesterday. Cleveland, not the Cleveland of old. Kansas City beat them a couple games, I think, last week. It's a huge pick for us. Wow. Because they're plus 140. Tuki Toussaint has 1 decision this year. That's a great line at 140. I don't understand. There's a lot of disproportionate weight or money toward Cleveland still based on last year and stuff. So that's a great pick for Atlanta. So that's kind of how we read the baseball file 14 minutes in. There's obviously going to be more updates to this as we go throughout the year. You can still get in. There's going to be a new subscription price and daily picks and everything coming in May. So you can get in now, I think, for $50, but I'm probably going to raise it to $100 in May. So that's what's coming because this thing's going to only get better as we get more stats and adjust the algorithm and the percentages to maximize our profit out here and figure out exactly how to change the different distributions because we've got player stat distributions in a player thing. We've got pitching stat distributions. Actually being calculated here. We have the pitching. You can mess around with this. We're going to add a relief pitching factor by grabbing other pitchers that are on this list that are not starters especially comes into play with Tampa Bay that keeps alternating pitchers all the time. We're going to be working on all those things and making this even better. And I'm telling you, we're going to win more because that's what happens. So we're out. May all our picks be winning today. Let's go. And I'll be at the Rockies game, so you know they're going to win.